Hi everybody, this is Oleg. Welcome to Organ Preparedness. Well, I'm happy to report it's been raining quite hard here in Pacific Northwest. In certain spots harder and certain lighter, but it's been raining since 3:30 in the morning. And I'm so happy because this smoke has been really, in certain times, almost unbearable. Especially in Portland. Washington's a little bit less affected, wasn't as smoky, but Portland was just awful, and it's been raining hard. Sometimes it stops for a little bit and then continues. Right now it's raining. So anyway, thank God for that. I'm sure a lot of people have been praying about it. So in this video I want to talk about sort of continuing my video that I made on Wednesday, 2 days ago. And what I want to talk about is what would you do after nuclear attack? Do you have a plan? Because we all probably have some kind of basic plan. What would we do if nuclear attack happened and we were home? The fact is, it could be that you're probably not going to be home when it happens. If it happens. I hope it never happens, but it's probably going to happen. Because, most of us work in all kinds of shifts. I mean, me, for an example, I'm away most of the times. I'm at home 1 or 2 days a week, and I'm gone all the time. I'm on the road. As I mentioned in many of my previous videos, I drive 3,000-4,000 miles a week. So chances are, if that was to happen, when it would happen, I would not be home. And as I mentioned in my previous video, you should have supplies that you absolutely must have with you bugging out. You should have them staged in your garage, in your closet, by the exit door from your apartment. The most critical supplies, some food, some water, some medicine, some warm clothes, some ammunition, some guns. All of us, if we could, would take the whole house with us. And if we were bugging out in a somewhat more peaceful scenario, and by that I mean even a hurricane that's coming at you, or some other disaster, let's say fire, it doesn't happen immediately. In advance that hurricane is coming. You usually know days in advance. Same thing with fires. It's not just gonna immediately burn your house down. But with a nuclear attack, at the most you would have 30-minute notice, if that. If they launch a nuke from a submarine, they could come really close to the coast, west or east coast. And if you live in one of the coastal cities or somewhere nearby, like Portland, it's only 90 miles away, and by like crow flies, probably less than that, you maybe would have 5 to 10 minutes notice, not days nor hours. So you gotta have your preps that you in advance try to fit in your car, the car that you're gonna use as a bug out vehicle, ready. And you need to have a plan with your wife or your girlfriend or boyfriend or significant other, whoever you're planning to bugging out with. Because once nuclear attack happens, number one, of course, first thing you do, if you're not home, you would try to use your cell phone and call somebody. Chances are there will be no cell phone communication. Number two, you try to, if you have access to internet, try to contact your family or people you're bugging out with through internet, through email. What if there is no internet? So that leads to this. You have to have a plan where you would meet in the event of nuclear attack if you survive. Of course, as I mentioned before, if you're living in downtown near airport, seaport, or military base, as New York Prepper mentioned, or near a nuclear power plant, chances are you are screwed, because those would be the targets. And if you live near the targeted area, number one, everybody would be bugging out like crazy. Even if you survived the initial blast, if you live in a close proximity to the target places, chances of you surviving are small. This is why I say you need to pick where to live or relocate. You have to think strategically, because you have to not only be far enough from possible target place. Number two, you need to live, whether you buy a house or you rent in a house or apartment, somewhere near some back road, because everybody will be trying to escape on foot, on motorcycle, on a bicycle, on a car, in the car. People will be just running for their life. So let's say you receive a warning on your cell phone. Missile is flying towards West Coast. You only have anywhere from 5 to 30 minutes at the most to throw things that you have prepared in your car and go. And let's say, like in my situation, my wife would have to grab kids, put essential supplies in the car, and just go to the place that you agree where you would meet. Your family member or your people you're gonna try to bug out with and survive. Could be weeks, could be months, could be indefinitely. It just depends on the severity. It could be years. Who knows? No one knows. No one knows how it's gonna play out, but you have to have a place. And I would say, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but in my opinion, I would say have a place where you would meet. And this is, I'm strictly talking about nuclear attack, nothing else. Everything else is minor by comparison. So you, I would say, want to have meeting place at least 100 miles away from the bomb detonation. And you have to hope and pray that where you're gonna meet, wind is not gonna blow in that direction. Because if it does, then you're gonna have a fallout and you could get radiation poisoning, depending on the size of a bomb, depending on if initially there was windy day. Because if it's a peaceful day, most of that radiation, most of the fallout will be, in 0 to maybe 20-mile radius, maybe 30 miles. So if you're 100 miles away and that's where you meet, that's not your final destination. If you have bug out place in mind, that's great. But if you don't, you just need to have a place, some place where you all decide where to meet. And meet there, let's say 100 miles away from your house. Also 100 miles away from possible target. And then you meet there and you make really, really thorough plans. Let's say you're meeting there with your wife and kids and with your brothers, sisters, parents, and not everybody makes it. Let's say, and you have no means of communication. Your phone is down, there's no internet. Chances are you don't have a CB radio, all of the people that you're meeting with. So you need to have some sort of plan how long you're gonna wait at that location for everybody to show up. I would say, you're gonna have your AM radio that you're gonna listen to, and you're gonna probably have an idea if the wind is blowing towards you or away from you. So if the wind is not blowing towards you, let's say you wait for everybody that you're gonna bug out with to show up, and you wait for everybody to show up for 3 days. If the wind is not favorable, if it's blowing towards you from where the bomb was exploded, then you really need to have second place, plan B, where you meet. Let's say, I'll use Portland as an example, and you can look up these locations on a map. Let's say I live in Portland, right? And I can be anywhere, I drive a lot. Lots of it is in Washington State. But let's say we decide to meet in the Dells. The Dells is about, I'd say, 100 miles away from Portland, going eastbound. And I would go east simply because if you want to go west, you only have 90 miles, and then there is Pacific Ocean. You cannot go any further. So I would be bugging out eastbound, because if the bomb explodes, even if the wind blows east, I can just continue going more east to get away from it. And so let's say the wind is favorable, it's not blowing, it's peaceful. You can wait there in the Dells for 3 days. And then let's say the wind is bad and it's kind of blowing away from Portland towards you. You don't want to stay there, so you continue on. Let's just take I-84 more eastbound towards Idaho. And you can select, let's say, Hermiston. And I'm just using this as an example. You have to figure out where you live. You have to look on a map and think where you would want to meet. And let's say 3 days go by, there's no wind, and not everybody show up. Then you have to make a decision if you want to wait longer or you want to move on. And I would, if the wind is okay, it's peaceful, there is no, obviously you would not smell radiation coming, but you would make your judgment by what you hear on the radio or read on internet if there is internet, and make your decisions. So in summary, once again, you have to be ready. You have to have a plan where you're gonna go. You need to try to move away from targeted areas, possible targeted areas, to place where you would be escaping using secondary road. Once again, all of us seen traffic, and I see it more than most people. Yesterday, for an example, I was driving on I-5 and there was huge accident. So right around between Tacoma and between Olympia, there was this big accident yesterday. So 4-lane highway was turned into 1 lane because all those accident, all the emergency vehicles, fire trucks, ambulances, they took 3 lanes. So that traffic, when I was going back, I saw it. It stretched for like 7 or 8 miles. And this is very possible scenario. Let's say you're bugging out on the freeway. Everybody's panicking. Everybody's trying to get away. So accidents are bound to happen. Once that happens, of course, no one's going to worry about rules. Everybody's going to drive around on the shoulder, on the grass. Still, it's going to make a mess. Second problem, what if somebody had some unreliable vehicle and it just broke down? Same scenario. You have a bottleneck. Or somebody who was not preparedness minded they did not have enough gas in their vehicle and they ran out of gas. Same scenario. You have a problem, you have a big problem, you cannot go around. So avoid freeways as much as possible. Make sure your gas tank is at least half full. I would always fill up half full, go to gas station, fill up. In these uncertain times, you don't know what can strike when. So, alright, I'm gonna conclude this video. I think you get the point, and hopefully this video was helpful, because it's been going on too long already. Hopefully you find some useful piece of information from this video. Please give it a thumbs up, share it if you find it useful, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next upload. Stay ready and get ready for that nuclear bomb explosion, because 99% guarantee it's going to happen. When, we don't know, but it's going to happen. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.